Let's talk about anonymity online. Is it a shield that protects the most vulnerable among us, or is it a weapon that just lets us unleash our worst impulses? The truth is, it's kind of both. It's like a mask that can reflect either the very best or the absolute worst parts of who we are. So today, we're going to unpack that exact contradiction. You know, the whole conversation about our online lives really boils down to one central conflict, a paradox. The very same thing, that freedom from real-world consequences, is celebrated as this amazing tool for liberation, but it's also condemned as the root of so much online toxicity. And here's what that paradox looks like in the real world. On one hand, you've got anonymity acting as a shield. It gives a voice to someone who might not otherwise have one, right? A teenager in a really repressive community can find support and explore who they are safely. But then, on the other hand, that exact same anonymity becomes a weapon, allowing others to just unleash these cruel attacks that can silence that very same person. It is truly a double-edged sword. So this all leads to a really fundamental question. What is it about that digital mask that changes our behavior so much? I mean, why do we act so differently the second our real name isn't attached to what we say? Well, to get at that, we got to look at how our thinking on this has changed over time. The classic theory was something called Deindividuation. The basic idea was that if you're in an anonymous crowd, you kind of lose your sense of self, and poof, your normal inhibitions just disappear. But a more modern idea, the side model, suggests something way more nuanced. It says it's not a loss of self, but a shift in identity. We stop thinking of ourselves as just an individual me, and we start acting as part of a collective us, basically adopting the norms of whatever online group we've joined. So, faced with all this online toxicity, a lot of platforms and people have reached for what seems like a really simple fix. Just get rid of anonymity. Make everyone use their real names. The logic seems solid, but as we're about to see, it's not nearly that simple. The whole thinking behind real name policies is pretty straightforward. It basically boils down to this one question. Would you say that in front of your mother? It's the digital version of having someone looking over your shoulder. And the hope is that by tying our online words to our real-world selves, we'll act with a bit more accountability. I mean, platforms like Facebook have literally built their entire world on this belief. Yeah, but this so-called solution ends up creating a whole new can of worms. Instead of sparking brave, honest conversations, forcing real names can actually lead to more conformity and self-censorship. People start avoiding conflict, and folks from marginalized groups might just leave the conversation entirely for fear of real-world consequences. And, as anyone who spent 5 minutes on Facebook knows, echo chambers can still thrive even when everyone is using their real name. And this is where we get to the heart of it. The debate isn't a simple choice between total anonymity on one side and real names on the other. Maybe we're stuck because we're not even using the right words to talk about the problem. We've been asking the wrong questions all along. We need a better framework. So let's build that better framework. Instead of looking at anonymity as this simple on-off switch, let's try to unpack what identity really means online along two key dimensions. Trust me, this will give us a much smarter way to look at our digital spaces. Okay, first up is durability. Just think of this as how persistent your online persona is. Is it a throwaway account you use one time and then junk? Or is it a stable identity that lets you build a reputation over months or years within a certain community? It's really all about whether your actions actually stick to your online self. And the second dimension is connectedness. Now, this is all about the link between your online self and your offline life. Can your boss see what you're posting? Your family? Your friends? Connectedness is the thing that attaches real-world consequences to your digital words. All right, so let's use this new framework on platforms we all know. Take 4chan. Both durability and connectedness are super low. Identities are totally disposable. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got Facebook, which is high durability and high connectedness. Your name is stable and it's tied to your real life. But then you have this really interesting middle ground, like Reddit. Reddit has high durability. You have a consistent username, you build up karma, a reputation, but it has low connectedness to your offline world. And that middle ground, that's where things get really, really fascinating. This is the world of the pseudonym, a super powerful tool for communication that we've mostly ignored in this simplistic black and white debate between anonymity and real names. So, using our new vocabulary, a pseudonym is just an identity with high durability but low connectedness. Think of a consistent, recognizable username, like a Reddit handle or a Twitter account you've had for years. that lets you build a solid reputation without having to link it to your real-world identity. And listen, this is not some new internet fad. The idea of pseudonymity has this long, really noble history. I mean, look at this quote from over 200 years ago. The principle has always been that the quality of your idea should matter more than your social status. A pseudonym puts the focus right where it should be, on the argument itself. The advantages here are pretty significant. Pseudonymity creates accountability inside a community because your reputation there is on the line. But it protects you from the social pressures and the risks of the outside world. This lets you have what some researchers call minimal deliberation, basically an exchange of pure arguments, free from all the baggage of social status. And hey, there's actually data to back this up. A study by the comment platform Discuss found that when they asked users to rate the quality of comments, pseudonymous comments actually came out on top. They were rated higher than both the purely anonymous comments and the real name comments. It turns out people themselves seem to value this middle way. So, where does all of this leave us? Well, it means we have to stop thinking about our online identity as just a given and start thinking about it as a design choice. The platforms we use are actively shaping our conversations through these very decisions about identity. What this all really shows is that we've been trapped in a false choice this whole time. The real question isn't, is anonymity good or bad? The real question is, what kinds of conversations do we actually want to have? And how can we thoughtfully design our identity systems, balancing durability and connectedness to make those conversations happen? Ultimately, the internet is this massive public space that we're all building together, one post, one comment at a time. So the question for all of us is, what kind of identities and what kind of platforms do we need to design if we want to build a more thoughtful, more constructive, and a more resilient digital world?